Hello friends, this is Eggbeast, and today I'm going to be looking at model properties. So this is using Oxygen 2, the default object builder for Arma series, provided by Bohemia. So basically the properties, when you do window, and then we want to look at properties, we look here, named properties, control 1. So that's basically what shows this window down here, and you can see in my LOD 1 I've got a LOD no shadow 1. I'm just checking that doesn't have a space on the end, because sometimes you'll see it like this with a space, and then it will give errors when you're building with PBO project. And the value is 1, which means we don't want to draw a shadow from this LOD because we're going to use a shadow volume. Okay, so LOD 2 should also have LOD no shadow, and it does, and LOD 3, and so on. You need to go through your model, check every LOD apart from shadow volume has that entry, LOD no shadow 1. Now there's an auto center naught in here, we don't need it, and there's a placement slope in here which we also don't need. You don't need anything else apart from LOD needed, which I'll come back to later, in your viz LODs. Okay, so let's get rid of those. Just cleaning up my model while we're doing the vid. So what I'm doing there is delete, just by right clicking. Okay, so auto center naught and placement slope, we don't want those because they don't belong in a viz LOD, they belong in the geometry LOD, which I will show you in a minute. So keep tidying these up. Okay, shadow volume, right, shadow volume, slightly different, LOD no shadow naught. I think this is right, I mean it may be wrong, but it seems to work for me, and it's advice I've been given by others who know better than me. Right, geometry, so LOD no shadow is 1, auto centers naught. Now if we wanted to place this truck in a world, so if in visitor, in the world building tool, if you wanted to place this truck as a static object, then you might want to put in placement slope, so it will place it flush with the ground. And then you might also want, we've got auto center naught, and we might also want class equals vehicle, which we might have class equals house, for example, if it's a house and we want it to import the config so that the animations like doors and things work in visitor. Right, so geometry physics needs LOD no shadow. Just going to copy that so I can use it again. Is 1. Memory. See, we only need LOD no shadow. Why am I deleting them all? I'll show. It's quite important because I'll show you in a moment why. Because when you copy and paste from one LOD to another, it copies the properties by default. So there we go, LOD no shadow is 1. Fire geometry. So I'm just cleaning all the LODs up. So they've only got LOD no shadow is 1. They don't have anything else in them. Then we don't have any rogue properties getting copied. Now, let's look at the memory LOD. For example, if I was to, here's one I made earlier, switch to this. Notice this is an old model. It was given to us by Pookie, and it's got a load of old crappy properties in there. Look in the memory LOD, even worse. Okay, let's take one memory point, copy it, and paste it in here. There she is. Notice now it's taken all of the properties with it, including a new LOD no shadow, because we already had one. We've now got a second one. And when you open this second one, notice it has a space after the name because it can't paste two on top of each other, so it helpfully adds a space after it. When you try and if you delete the wrong LOD no shadow and leave the one with the space, it will throw errors in PBO project. So what we have to do now is go and delete all of those properties. Okay, look how many there are. Okay, deleted. What I'm going to do instead, of course, is I'm going to roll back with Control Z because I don't really want that in my model. Save my model, done. Now what we would do is when we're finished and we're ready to say, okay, we're going to import this into game now and we want it to work fully properly, we're not going to change anything else in the LODs as far as we know, we would go to LOD 1 and we would enter a new property called LOD needed. I'm just going to copy that. LOD needed is going to be 1 because this is LOD 0. So LOD 1 is here, which is now helpfully named LOD 2. This will now have a new property. LOD needed is 2. And this one, LOD needed is 3. We just go up one LOD at a time. We don't need to add one to the last visible LOD. View Gunner and View Pilot don't need it. So that's it. That's all you need. All of your different funky ones go into geometry. Everything else should just be LOD needed is 1. LOD no shadow is 1. LOD needed in your main viz LODs. Okay, and that's properties. Thanks very much for watching.